Okay, so fair warning, might be a little bit longer video, might be a little bit into the details, but it's important. It's a good piece to add to the VA series, and I want to make sure I got the information out. So for those of you that haven't watched the channel before, I'm Roy Caballo. I'm the broker owner of Caballo's Realty. Caballo's Realty Referrals, a couple different brokerages in Southwest Florida. When I make these videos, understand please that I can only speak for Florida because that's where we're licensed at. But I want to go ahead and share this information because it's relative to everybody. It doesn't matter where you're at because it's VA related information, and you guys know I do a ton with VA. If you didn't see the video I did with Wink News here in Southwest Florida, please go look at it. It's pretty cool. I'm very proud of that and what I'm trying to do for veterans in the state of Florida. So what we're going to talk about today, I had to actually make myself some notes because it's pretty extensive. You know, a lot of people were talking about the recent change that the president signed into effect. It was House Bill 1815, and that House bill that became law on the 30th, signed by the president, basically gave veterans the ability to pay their buyer's agent, which in the past was not anything that was authorized for a veteran purchaser. You were not allowed to pay your agent. You also weren't allowed to pay a brokerage fee. Now, the brokerage fee piece is still in play. You cannot pay a brokerage fee, but since 1815 went into effect, now a veteran buyer can pay their agent, which makes them more competitive with regards to offers in the real estate community. So that's the piece that everybody seems to be gravitating towards. Now veterans can actually have a little bit more of a competitive playing field. A lot of myths and misconceptions behind VA transactions. I'm trying to battle that because it's just wrong. The last time I looked at the numbers, there are approximately 17,000 transactions, VA transactions, in the first half of 2025 for the state of Florida. 17,000 in a state that is receiving approximately 900 people a day, and we're not losing people anywhere as fast as we're gaining them. That's a pretty sad number. Right? A lot of it, like I said, comes from myths that people don't understand, misconceptions about VA transactions that are completely inaccurate, and I'm trying to fix that. But with regards to this, with regards to House Resolution 1815, there's a piece that nobody seems to be talking about. VA used to have something called VASP. That was the Veterans Affairs Servicing Program, if I'm not mistaken on my acronym. And if a veteran fell behind, that was a way that the veteran could work towards possibly getting their loan actually purchased by the VA and basically giving them a second chance at owning a home before going into foreclosure. Well, the VASP program actually shut down, if I'm not mistaken, the 30th of May of this year. Now what? So what a lot of people aren't saying is, yes, VASP shut down, the very few people that are talking about this, but part of House Resolution 1815 gave back the VA part of the ability to actually step in and help veterans who are on their way to foreclosure by possibly picking up their loans and funding those loans or reworking those loans as a direct loan from the VA. Now, if you want to get into what is a direct loan, I recommend you speak to a mortgage broker or a mortgage banker, preferably a mortgage broker, and I can point you to some of those, but there are differences in the lending community, let's put it that way. So in looking at numbers to kind of prepare for this video, as of what I found right now, there are approximately 70,000 veterans that are 90 days or greater behind on their current home loan. You know, I have no idea what that stems from. That could stem from the economy. That could stem from the wonderful Mr. Powell at the Fed, who refuses to reduce interest rates. Remember, interest rates do not have a direct correlation on home loans. They do not have a direct correlation on home loans, right? So still, they do have a direct correlation on credit card payments and things like that. So there's a ton that goes into this, but even though we lost the VASP program, which to me is huge because you lose that, you're a veteran, you hit hard times. I know there's a bunch of us that have been through that. And then you're like, where do I turn? So 1815 actually reinstated a part of that to be able to help veterans who are possibly in that position to where they could be losing their home, they're going into foreclosure, and it gives the VA the ability to work with those veterans to give them a second chance to not lose their home. To me, that part is actually more important than the veteran buyer being able to pay their agent. Let's face it, if you're looking at marketability of a home, if you're a seller and you're looking at marketability of a home, I would recommend offer something to the buying side. You know, it doesn't, I'm not saying pay all of the buyer's agent's fees, but at least be negotiable. Because if that buyer's on the fence and they need that money to qualify for the loan, you know what? That little piece that you contribute could be what gets the transaction through, right? And it's just a matter of negotiating and working. And something I try to remind all my sellers, without a buyer, you don't have a transaction. You don't have a closing. And the money that you're giving back to them, typically, is coming from them anyhow. So I kind of don't understand what some of the hullabaloo comes from in real estate negotiations. And I think it comes from agents, really, honestly. A lot of you guys are going to throw me some shade on this, but agents that don't know, they don't understand, and they're not explaining things properly to their sellers. So that's kind of how that all works out. Biggest thing to share, this actually, people started talking about the House Resolution 1815 about the 18th or so of July. It actually did not get signed into effect until the 30th of July. And I guarantee you there's a whole ton of people that don't even know like really what's going on, because there's a lot of agents that don't do anything with VA transactions. You need help, you're a veteran, let me know. I'll try and do what I can. I got some great lenders that are very pro VA, that are very pro veteran. Not saying the rest of them aren't. Don't get your feelings hurt, right? But I know some great people that I have personally worked with that can help you, right? So give me a shout. Roy Caballo, broker owner, 863-441-3295. Hey, I'll even go so far as to put the link to the Wink interview in the comments or in the description below. So please give it a like and check out what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make veterans a protected class in real estate in Florida. That should be a shocker. And there's going to be people saying, no, you can't do that. Yes, I can. It's already been done by Virginia. I'm not saying that we're forcing people to take VA offers. I'm saying you can't arbitrarily dismiss a VA offer. I'm saying you can't knock it off the table before you ever see it. There's a big difference. So I'm trying to make sure veterans have a fair shake in the real estate market. And there's some great VA offers out there. It's just agents don't know how to work them. They're intimidated by them. They haven't worked very many of them. And for some reason, they're not picking up the phone and calling me or calling somebody that does. So let's, ooh, that was thunder. That's the boss telling me I need to go back inside before the rain starts. Give me a call, give me a shout. Roy Caballo. Hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. And I'm here if you need me.